Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
May I have this dance?
Oh, my!
Alexander stops playing the flute, but the wallflowers and snapdragons continue to dance, caught up in the music and oblivious to everything around them. While the wallflowers dance, Alexander snatches the hole in the wall. The hole in the wall has 4 legs and a curly tail. He's all limbs with only a hole for a body, but that doesn't make him any less whole. The hole in the wall squirms slightly in Alexander's palm. A bit of the wallflower's shyness seems to have rubbed off on the hole in the wall, for he remains mute. Alexander doesn't want to put the hole in the wall back on that wall. It was hard enough to get it the first time. Alexander can't use the hole in the wall on himself, but if he could, he would see thoughts of Cosima.
Are you there, most venerable bookworm?
Do you have anything interesting yet? A prepositional phrase, possibly?
Let me see what I have.
A very large caterpillar has wriggled its way up out of the book pile. He looks scholarly and terribly self-important. Bookworm might not appreciate Alexander trying to grab him.
Are you sure there isn't something else I can trade you for a rare book?
Nope. Unless you have one of the items I asked about before, I just won't part with one of my books. Well, I hardly expected you to have anything useful. Good day.
Are you there, most venerable bookworm?
Do you have anything interesting yet? A subordinate clause, maybe?
Let me see what I have. I have a hole in the wall.
Do you see any walls around here, young man?
No.
Just think a little first, would you please?
Are you there, most venerable bookworm?
Do you have anything interesting yet? A split infinitive.
Let me see what I have. have a rotten tomato.
I'm sure you do, son. But there's nothing I can do about it.
Are you there, most venerable bookworm?
Do you have anything interesting yet? Falling arches, perhaps?
Let me see what I have. I have a magic map. That's pretty unusual.
And I suppose I should just go poofing about with that map and leave my books unattended for you to do with as you please? No, thank you.
Are you there, most venerable bookworm?
Do you have anything interesting yet? A fleeting moment, perhaps?
Let me see what I have. I found this little fellow lost on another island.
Coming home I am too.
There you are, you naughty boy. I told you not to leave the island.
Glad I am seeing you too.
A most solemn celebration.
So, you found my dangling participle. I suppose I'll have to give you something. Let's see now. Was it a rare book you wanted?
Yes, sir.
Well, then none of these will do. They've been sitting in the sun far too long and must be well cooked by now. This one is far more rare. A delicious little tidbit.
Thanks.
Alexander is carrying a rare book from the bookworm. The words in the binding are very faint. The something something riddle book. Alexander opens the rare book and looks inside. The book contains riddles and has a page missing. Alexander glances at a few of the conundrums, but finds himself more curious about the one that is missing. What was the riddle, he wonders? More importantly, what was the answer?
Wow. Hiya, gorgeous. Oh, what a luscious-looking hunk of flesh you are.
Thank you, I guess. Who are you?
How charming of you to pretend not to know. I'm Black Widow, of course. The femme fatale of all femme fatales. Know what I mean? You know, I was just thinking it was time I found my 50th, another husband. It would be quite a horror, an honor to have me as a bride. Just look at my beautiful weaving. It's so light, so delicate. You'll never want to leave my little nest.
It is a lovely web, but my heart is elsewhere, I'm afraid.
Oh, drat! The loss is yours. I'm sure you'll change your mind once you consider the advantages.
An intricately detailed spider's web has been spun between a pile of books and a small tree. A black widow is sitting in her web. She has long legs and an hourglass on her belly. She gives Alexander a knowing look.
That scrap of paper blew into my web from those books over there. The wind just thinks it can deposit anything here.
A thread is hanging from the otherwise tightly woven web.
Have you changed your mind? My offer of dead wedlock is still open.
The web is as silent as silk.
Hey, don't touch that thread!
Alexander snatches the scrap of parchment, curious to see what's written on it. The wind blows the scrap of paper from Alexander's hand, but he remembers what it said well enough.